You guys are looking weird today. That's a good thing, right? I'm starting this series called Weird, and my hope is that our church will get weird, and you will get weird, and that we will be contagiously weird, and then that we will keep church weird. Have you guys saw the sign in the hallway, keep church weird? Man, that's our new deal. We're going to keep church weird, and here's what I'm talking about. Well, I'm going to get in it. I'm going to skin it. Let's do it. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 14 and 16. Now, Solomon was one of the wisest men in the world, right? The wisest man that ever lived. And he writes these proverbs out. And in this proverb, not only does he see it important enough to say once, but he repeats himself. Now, either he lost it or it was important, right? And so he says it in Proverbs chapter 14, verse 12, and Proverbs chapter 16, verse 25. Exact same verse in both places. And this is what he says. He says, there is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. See, there is a way that we think the world works. There is a way that we believe things should be. There is a way that we choose to live. But that end is death. But then there's another way to live. There's God's ways. And God's ways are higher, are smarter, are better, or above our ways. His ways and God's ways are right. God's ways are a way that leads to life. And this has been true from the beginning till now. God writes even in the Old Testament as he's talking to the children of Israel, as he's speaking to them about life and about the law, he says that if you live according to my will, that you'll have life. But if you choose to do your own thing, it's going to result in death. And wouldn't we agree, I think, that life is better than death? Some people would. I mean, you guys are weird though, right? Yeah, life is better. I'm just going to step out there and say it. Y'all are not with me today, like, I don't know what to do. Life is better than death. So, there is a way that the world functions. Does everybody agree with that? Okay. And that way that the world functions is called normal, right? Yeah. I'm not going to make you look stupid. Just go ahead and jump out there when you know the answers. All right? If you know the answer, just shout it out. The world's way is called normal, right? All right. There we go. And our goal in life is to be normal, right? Yeah, everybody wants to be normal. As we walk through life, man, we don't want to be the weird dude. When you were going through school, did you want to be the weird kid? Some of you were so weird that you didn't even know you were the weird kid. Like you were calling it normal the whole time. And everybody else was like, that dude's weird and don't know it. I know, I went to school with some of you guys. You were the weird ones. No, I'm just playing. Here's what I've... Shh. Keep that between us. Here's what I've found happens in life. Everybody wants to be normal. But then there's this strange thing that happens too, that we're in this competition, right? Life is a competition, so everybody wants to stand out, but in the confines of normal, right? We want to excel at normality. Is that a weird way to say that? Our goal in life is generally to be normal and not stick out. Nobody wants to be weird. Those are artists, right? They just want to stick out, period. But in general, all of us, we want to be what's called normal. But at the same time, we would like to be famous, the best, the most known in our normalcy. So we would say, would it be safe to say it like this? We want to be strangely normal. We want to be noticed in an unnoticed way. Does that seem right? It's kind of this thing that we've built up. So here's the way it looks. If I'm confusing you by the way I'm talking about this, here's the way it looks. We all want to be married. Well, I'll say that. Those of you who are married don't want to be, and those who aren't do want to be. It's the weirdest thing in the world. Everybody wants to have 1.2 children. Everybody wants to, get a good job, have a regular, normal home, a normal home life. But here's what I found in my life. A normal home life doesn't exist. Has anybody noticed that? Like you're looking around going, everybody else is normal, but man, my house is a zoo. Yeah, and I think, so we've got this normal thing going, and then we go out and we get a job and whatever, but then we want to kind of stand out. We want to excel, and be better and better and better and the best. And we want to be a normal family, but we want to be a richer normal family. We want to have more. We want to be normal, but maybe a little better than those low-life normals. Right? So then we get in this competition way of living. And I think as we do that, and that becomes the American way of life, right? Is that we become completely unsatisfied. So it's normal to be unsatisfied with life. And we become depressed, dependent, codependent, addicted, angry, bitter. Life starts to let us down. But it seems to me that there was a wise man who said that there is a way that seems right to man, but that way leads to death. Right? So we would say that Solomon's words were actually true. We find ourselves seeking normalcy, but also striving for more and more and more. We want to be normal, but we want to be the richest normal, the most famous normal. We want to be within the confines of normal, but we want to stick out among that group because you don't want to stick out among the weird kids. You know what I mean, you don't want to be one of them, right? So we live our lives and we find ourselves never satisfied, always worn out. Anybody agree? Anybody just worn out? Like life is just too much. Like it's just wearing me out. I'm tired. I mean, I find myself saying, and I've tried to quit saying I'm tired because I get up in the morning, I'm tired. I go to lunch, I'm tired. I come to the office, I'm tired. I go home, I'm tired. Ella would want something, I'm tired. Justice would call, I'm tired. I just felt myself saying that all the time. Does anybody else do that? Like, why are we so tired? Because we got to do more, right? We got to be busier because we got to fit in normal, but we got to do more than normal to keep up with normal or else we'll get behind. So my wife's always telling me she's got to get ahead. And I said, ahead of what? I've got to get ahead. Ahead of time? That's a nice trick. Haven't pulled it off yet. What are you getting ahead of? So we're working and we're striving and we're going through all of these things to try to excel and be the best normal there is. And I think what happens and what's happened in my life, and I don't know if it's just getting older or if it's just getting tired to where you're like, man, I can't keep up. And you just like, do over. We're cleaning this slate and we're starting over, right? So I look at my life and I think there's got to be a better way to live. Anybody ever think about that? And funny enough, someone took the time to write down what this rabbi taught about a better way to live. See, Jesus came and he said, I've come that you can have life. And not just a normal, everyday, get-by life, but an extraordinarily weird life. I've come that you can have life beyond the limits and the confines of this world. Isn't that great? Like, I think we read that and we go like, Jesus said we come to have life and have it more abundantly, and I'm tired. And that's kind of our attitude, right? And you look at the people and you're like, man, your life's just kicking you in the teeth. It's done a number on your situation. But I think Jesus laid out a way for us to live, and in this series, I'm gonna go deep into what it looks like and what Jesus said about how to live life. But here's the warning: it's going to be weird. I mean, weird, crazy, strange, weird. But at the same time, you're going to find peace that you can't comprehend. And it's going to be good for us all. And then we're going to start to live in community in that peace and in that weirdness. And then it's going to start to jump on other people. Because people, like, happiness is contagious. And peace is contagious. And joy is contagious. And weird is contagious. So that's our goal. Now, I want to start today by kind of saying that this breaks down by one thing. You have to understand one principle to get this series. All right, you ready for it? You have already won. I want you to understand that. You're a winner. Now, a lot of us, man, we can't accept that on the surface, right? You've won. You're a winner. You're like, but I really didn't do much, and I don't remember winning. And when I've known had I won, that's the cool part. We win because God loved us so much that He gave the Messiah, Jesus, to reconcile us to Him. That makes us winners. That makes us winners. See, you can't do any more. You're not going to make God love you anymore. There's not a possibility. There's no chance for it. Here's the other part. And Paul goes into this long thing in Romans 8, and he goes into this whole spiel about what you cannot do to separate yourself from God's love. You can never, ever, ever, ever do anything to separate yourself from God's love. Now, who in their minds, and this is okay to stick up your hand because I think a majority of you would say this, but most of you will be too embarrassed to stick up your hand. How many of you, when I said that, you can never, ever, 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 ever do anything to separate you from God's love, you said in your mind, but? Huh? God ain't got no butt. That's on video too, man. He's spirit. He ain't got no butt. You understand? There's nothing else. It's you can never do anything to separate yourself from God's love, period. No but, no if, no unless, no and, no when. And that makes you a winner. You have nothing else to prove. I don't know what we're after. Jesus, when he's talking to his disciples, he says this. He said, what a terrible thing to gain the whole world but forfeit your soul in the process. What are you trying to win? What are you trying to gain? What are you trying to get ahead of? And is it costing you your very soul? Your inner peace, your life, your love, your passion? I was having a conversation this week, man. I don't think I've experienced anything more worse. I've never experienced anything worse than losing passion. It's what makes me me. It's what makes me breathe. It's what makes me work. And so we lose things like that because we don't understand that God loves us. We don't understand that we've already won. And we're out there in life trying to win. Now, there's a way that seems right to man, but that way leads to death. And that way is normal in this world. And normal in this world says that you have to go to the right school, get the right education, marry the right woman, have the right kids, get the right job, make the right money, get in the right club, have the right friends. And then you are a success. Then you win. But I have never met anybody in my life at any financial status, at any education status, at any marital status, at any number of kids status. Well, at kids maybe. That said, it's enough. I'm good. Mostly with kids, it was like, I've gone overboard. I should have quit at the last one. We always want more. And here's the way our world's turned, and here's the way it works. And it doesn't matter if you're believer, unbeliever, Jew, Muslim, Catholic, Methodist, Hindu, I don't know, anything else, witch doctor. It doesn't matter. Everybody's in the same place. Everybody is trying to win. We're competition driven. You know how I know that? I had my cruise set on Interstate yesterday. And I got passed by everybody. How many of you does it drive you crazy when people pass you? Oh, man. It's a 2-lane road going one direction. That means it's a race. By definition. What is it in us that gets furious when we get passed? I just want to put them to the curb, just put them in the wall. Can't do that. Don't do that. Okay? That's not a better way to live. I was always driving down Interstate, and I'm getting more and more irritated because every car, you know what? If you set your cruise on the speed limit, you won't pass anybody, and everybody will pass you. And that makes you a loser. Not really, but is that not the way it feels? Is there not something in us that is so driven we can't even go down Interstate without letting somebody get ahead? We sit at a red light and somebody wants over and you're like, I got the next 18 feet. Sit at the red light at 19 and 2:43 in the mornings and somebody inches ahead of me. Maybe I'm worse than normal, like the normal person. I've exceeded normalcy a while ago. And I ask myself all the time, this is causing me stress. This is taking away from my life. Why can't I just let somebody win? Man. And what about that guy on your job that you know you're better than he is? And he got the promotion? He got the raise? That drives me crazy. to see people that are just idiots get promoted ahead of me, because you know they're idiots because they got promoted ahead of you. Does it not drive you crazy? I was watching Moneyball the other night, and Billy Beane said, I hate to lose worse than I like to win. And I thought, that's me. It's not that I want to win, I just can't stand losing. I hate it. It causes me ulcers. It stays with me. I'm walking around the store for 15 minutes still thinking about all those cars passing me on the interstate. And we say that that's a good thing, man, Todd, you're driven. That's culture, man. That's competition, and competition feeds and fuels culture, man, and that's where success comes from. And I say, by whose definition? And here's what I figured out. I am so insecure that I cannot stand to lose. Them words taste bad. Those are bad tasting words. I've gotten a lot better, though. I'm a recovering loseaholic. I remember doing anything and everything in my life, man, to numb the fact that you're a loser. I don't know if you guys ever experienced that. I went through this whole time where I couldn't accomplish enough, so I was just like, I was about 30, and I realized, man, that everything I thought I was going to become in life, I didn't. And I looked around and I said, you are that loser you made fun of when you were in high school. So what do you do to deal with that? Well, you numb it. You deny it, you numb it, you drink it away, you party it away, you spend it away, and you try to forget about it, and you suppress it, and you put it somewhere else. But let me tell you the truth, guys. Those are all lies. It's not going to help. It'll never get you anywhere. You know where it got me? I proved to myself what I thought was true that was actually true. I proved to myself by these actions to try to cover up being a loser that I actually was one. But then I had this unbelievable encounter with God, and He became real. Now, I don't know how you feel about religion and all that other stuff, but let me tell you this. Religion has done more to make me feel worse about myself than anything else in the world. When you already feel like a loser, religion's not going to help you. It's going to make you feel like more of a loser. You're never going to achieve enough, accomplish enough, be good enough, holy enough, spiritual enough, wise enough, know enough Bible verses, know enough hymns, be able to clap in rhythm enough, which you guys cannot do. I found out earlier today. You know, being a rhythm guitarist is hard when you guys ain't got no rhythm. And I'm like going, don't listen, don't listen, don't look, don't listen. And everybody, you guys are just off, and you're just like, praise Jesus. And everybody's, I don't remember what I was talking about now. Oh, yeah, you can't. You just can't do enough to make it all work for you. And I think that was one of the things that was because I saw religion and church and all these things as God. But then I encountered God, like He's real. And it changed everything. See, at that time, I realized I could never do enough. And God came and He showed me, you win. You're a winner. You're a winner, and you can never, ever, ever be a loser. And He spent the next 20 years trying to show me how much of a winner I am. How much He loves me, how much He cares for me, how much He's done for me. And what I realized about this is it's not just them. We love church because it's us in here and we're like cool and holy and Jesus-y, and they're not. Jesus see you like that. And they're not. It's the us and thems. They are the, what do they call that? Pagans. They're the pagans. Muslims say the infidels, right? Those who aren't like them. And every religion is the us and them. And so we call the world messed up and us good. They're the losers and we're the winners. But see, here's what I got to just share with you. Jesus died for them too. They've already won too. He loves us all. Red, yellow, black, and white, we are precious in His sight. We are all winners. So where does that leave us? Well, when normality says you're a loser, but you've got to prove something to be a winner, then weird would be knowing you're a winner and helping others succeed, wouldn't it? This happens in the church just as much as it happens in the world too. I'm telling you, I'm a pastor, and this is True Confessions of a Pastor Sunday. But there's always something deep down when I see the success of another church when I know I'm better than them. Competition, man. We're a better church than Lakeside. I said that sarcastically once in a message at First Baptist, and the pastor called me to the office the next day and said, "Don't ever do that again." But isn't there something deep down inside of us that, I mean, even in our church circles, that's sick, man. I got a sickness. Like, that's not right. You want to see, man, that church is failing. They're closing their doors. Man, we'll pray for them. That's sick, man. We got problems. Because somewhere along the line, the church became normal too. The church isn't weird anymore. See, early on it was weird, man. It even started with Jesus. But look, it is the normalcy of the world, right? Because even Jesus' disciples and John's disciples, there was this guy named John the Baptist, and he was a voice crying out in the wilderness, right? He was sent to tell people that Messiah was coming. He was secure in who he was and what he was here for. He was secure in his identity. He was secure in his own skin. He was okay being him. And he had disciples. And Jesus came, and he was Messiah. And he had disciples. In the book of John, in chapter 3, verse 25, this is what's going on here. Now, it says in John 3:25, now a discussion arose between some of John's disciples and a Jew over purification. And they came to John and said to him, "Rabbi, he who was with you across the Jordan, to whom you bore witness, look, he is baptizing, and all are going to him." And John answered, "A person cannot receive even one thing unless it is given to him from heaven." So you get what's going on here, right? John's disciples are like, "Hey, John, see Jesus and his disciples, they're baptizing more than us. What's up with that? I thought we were the coolest. I thought we were ace number one. I thought you were the voice crying in the wilderness. You are John. You're eating locusts and wild honey and dressing in weird clothes and got furry belt on or whatever. We're out here with you, man." And John said, "You yourselves bear me witness that I said I am not the Christ, but I have been sent before him. I know who I am, and I'm not him. The one who has the bride is the bridegroom. The friend of the bridegroom who stands and hears him rejoices greatly at the bridegroom's voice. Therefore, this joy of mine is now complete. Get this though, verse 30. He must increase, and I must decrease. See, it's not until we know who we are and we're comfortable in who we are that we can help someone else to increase while we decrease. That we can help someone else become great while we become less. And if we try to do that, man, that's weird, right? That's weird. But that's the teachings of Jesus. Jesus said, man, among men there is none greater than John the Baptist. But John's viewpoint was, and he was famous, I have to become less. And Messiah has to become more. He has to become greater. And I look at that as an example in our lives, and I start to say, man, where in my life am I becoming less and helping those around me become more? In the very deeply spiritual movie, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby, his friend would slingshot him to victory and constantly come in second. Now, if you've never seen it, don't watch it. Because if I tell you to don't watch it, you'll go watch it. Now you don't know what to do. But I think, isn't it that kind of the way in our life? When was the last time that we let someone draft on us so we could slingshot them to victory? When have we ever become okay with being second, third, or fourth? Or like Jesus said, man, the greatest in heaven will be the last. When did we become last? Here's what I've found. There is so much more peace in life when you're so secure that you've already won, that you're able to help those around you win. True love is not just being okay that you lose, but celebrating the victory of others. Now, I'm the only honest one in here, maybe, but I doubt it. A lot of you guys can testify with this. It's real hard to be genuinely happy when others have great success, when you feel that you deserve that success. It is. It's hard, isn't it? But you want to know what real peace is? Not needing to win. Life is easier when you don't have to win. When you don't have to do more, be better, because you don't have to run around putting other people down and tearing other people up and destroying other people and talking about other people and lying about other people and stealing from other people. When you can not only not tear them down, but turn around and build them up and help them succeed. And see, here's what I've experienced, and here's what I see is true in the Gospels. When I help others win, then I can win 1,000 times more. I can be 1,000 times happier by being happy when everyone else has success. But if I have to be ticked off when everybody else has success and only happy when I succeed, I'm going to be a miserable person. Why not be happy for the guy who gets a promotion? And then he's going to go, what are you so happy about? He's going to not sleep at night thinking, that's weird. That's weird. And it's time to become weird. We've got to quit trying to win. We don't have to be the best, the most, the highest, the greatest. If we truly want to live weird, if we want to get down what the gospel says, that this is the way to live, this is a better way to live. The kingdom of heaven functions not with everybody in competition to be first, but with everybody else more interested in the success of those around them than their own. And that's weird. And that's where I want to start today on this series. That's where I want to start this series today, is I want you to understand that it's not about you. It's not about me. See, my life has been given for you. The gift, I hate this spiritual gift thing that religion has gotten into, because it's all like, well, he got this gift and she can do that and he can heal and he can cast out demons. This guy, I never do, I don't get nothing. And we start measuring all that by some spiritual thermometer. Who's holier than who by what they've done? Do you realize that God's given me gifts, but I have no reward in those gifts at all? That the gifts God has given me are for you. In that your gifts that God has given you are for me and those around you. And until we get that, man, we're just going to be all like, ooh, I got this gift, I got that gift, and we're shining it up, and it's not going to do you any good at all. Everything that God has given us is for those around us. It's to help elevate and make better the people around us. Our lives are not our own. We've already won. God already loves you. Now it's time for us to lay down ourselves and help those around us be successful. And when we start to do that, it's going to look weird. I'm going to close right here in Acts chapter 2, verse 42. This is where this church started. And I want to give you a warning up front that this is not a mandate or a model for the church, okay? A lot of people say, this is the church, and we should be doing this, and this, so we have to structure ourselves like that, whatever. I want you to understand that this is an observation of what happened when people got weird with Jesus, okay? In Acts chapter 2, verse 42, it says this, "And they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to the fellowship and the breaking of bread and prayer, and awe came upon every soul. And many wonders and signs were being done through the apostles, and all who believed were together and had all things in common." Get this, "And they were selling their possessions and belongings and distributing the proceeds to all as any had need. And day by day attending the temple together and breaking bread in their homes, and they received their food with glad and generous hearts, praising God and having favor with all people. And the Lord added to their number day by day those who were being saved." That is what the kingdom looks like. That's not a church model. It's not a church structure. It's an observation of what happens when people deny themselves and help those around them. People are more interested in the success of others. People don't take but give. What a great, great world. Isn't that better? Wouldn't we say that life would be better and less stressful, that they were at peace, that they were at joy, that they were in glad hearts, all because they got weird? That they stopped living for themselves and accumulating for themselves and building up their kingdoms, and they started to say, you know what, it's about time for me to help somebody else be a success. It's about time for me to shout out somebody else's name and make somebody else famous. How does it look? Go to work tomorrow morning and grow your boss's business like it's your own. Quit trying to be famous. Quit trying to be the boss. Go and grow your boss's business like it's your own. Go home this afternoon and treat your wife and your kids better than you want to be treated by them. When you're driving down interstate, let people pass. Pull over to the right and let them by. It's not a competition. Be okay with it. Something funny happens then, and we start to change, and we start to see this new world, and we start to see it, and then it becomes a passion and a drive. And until it becomes a passion and a drive of ours to help others succeed, we're never going to truly embrace God's kingdom. But when we embrace God's kingdom, man, it's going to be so beautiful for you. If you want to know what success feels like, not looks like, but you want to know what success feels like, help everybody around you be better than you. That's weird. All right, I want you guys to stand up with me.
She said, don't